We're joined now by Michael Simmons. He's economics editor at The Spectator. A very good morning to you, Michael.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about benefit reforms. Benefit crackdown. Long trailed. Lots of information about what they were, what they weren't going to do. We had a load of Labour MPs yesterday saying, people are going to die. This is far too much. Then we're told it's going to only save 5 billion quid. Was this a benefit crackdown that was really severe, or did it not go far enough?
I think it's not gone far enough. If you look at the Department for Work and Pensions' own forecasts, in the time before these changes come in, most of the changes don't actually come in until 2028.
Yeah.
In that time, the bill for sickness benefit was already going up 15 billion. So it's still going to go up by 10, which is such a massive surge. The number of people on the benefit is going to go up by nearly 1 million as well.
Yeah.
So they've slowed the surge, but to me, it seems more like OBR-driven policy making to get a number down that's going to fit in with a fiscal headroom problem that the Chancellor has, rather than
these sort of kind of made-up rules, because they are made up, really. Rules ahead of the spring statement, and Rachel Reeves basically, the economy is not looking good. We've had, apparently unexpected, I'd thought highly expected, downturn in the economy as a result of government policies, and they haven't got enough money. They're going to have to try and save some. Is it spending cuts, tax rises, or more borrowing, or a combination of the three? But here's the thing, Labour backbenchers absolutely up in arms, the usual suspects about how awful this is. Even the chair of the Work and Pensions Select Committee was saying, this shouldn't be done, making these numbers match shouldn't be done on the backs of the poorest people. But most of the savings they're looking to get are from preventing people who are not yet on disability benefits from getting on disability benefits because they don't actually need them, which doesn't seem to me to be particularly cruel.
Yeah, I think that's right. And look, whenever you do anything that looks for savings in the benefit system, I think, unfortunately, you are going to take some money away from people who genuinely need it.
Yes.
But the big problem is, the rise in mental health, people getting onto these assessments too easily. So I think it's a good thing that they're going to tighten up the PIP assessments. I think what's actually really a strong point that they've came out with yesterday, and one of the things that hadn't leaked in the weeks running up to it, is this idea about making it harder for young people to get onto these benefits. So the minimum age you have to be to get the health-related top-up to UC is going to go up to 22. And that's to stop this problem where, people finish school, people finish training, go straight onto the out-of-work category of benefits, and then essentially live a life where they never work. So I think...
And not be requested to work. But basically, they just go on the dole instead. They'll be on universal credit.
Exactly. Once you get into that not fit for work category, which is going to eventually be abolished, you tend to just stay in that, and there's no pressure on you to look for work. So stopping young people getting into that category, I think, is where the one bit of it
But really, we should stop everybody from getting to that category if they're not actually part of the category. Now, here's the key thing. So from November 2026, people will need to score a minimum of 4 points in at least one activity to qualify for the daily living element of PIP, which is kind of the biggest part of it. The current standard rate is if people score between 8 and 11 points overall, you get an enhanced rate from 12 points. Now, so what does that mean in actual English?
Well, this is
Yes.
the tricky thing, right? Who knows? And this is why I think it does play into, they've just tried to change the rules to add up to this 5 billion figure that they'd briefed the press about.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to, the way PIP assessment works is there's criteria about how you live your life. So can you wash your upper body? Can you wash your lower body? And that works out to scoring different points.
Yeah.
I don't think any government minister could come on television or go to the House of Commons and justify how each score, measures to each bit of the assessment. So it seems to me like they've tweaked the scoring to get to this 5 million figure.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. I mean, one would argue, again, a lot of it is you telling somebody, we know a lot of these assessments have been over the phone. Now they're saying they're going to move more of them to being in person. Well, that's only going to work if you've got the people making the assessments in the office, which they are not largely in now anymore. They're working from home. But also, crucially, a lot of it is, especially when it comes to mental health, it is somebody's personal view. Do you struggle to do this? Yes, I do. I mean, unless you're being asked to prove it, unless you literally, I don't know, set fire to the building and say, well, let's see if you can run or not. I mean, you're not literally going to be able to prove it, are you? So I would be very surprised, I bet you anything after these reforms, that there will be no difference whatsoever in the number of people getting these benefits.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, because they don't do anything to tackle the mental health problem. And the issue there is government-wide, but also a society thing, that we've changed from thinking that the best way to deal with stress, the best way to deal with anxiety is basically to get on with life, to put one foot in front of the other and to go to work. I mean, work's incredible for your mental health.
Yeah.
If we now have an idea in society where if you have anxiety, if you have depression, you just lock yourself away and stay at home, then that number is just going to keep on climbing, and we just cannot afford that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing. It is interesting also, even the Labour front bench talking about this and justifying it. It's amazing. If the Tories had announced this, which they should have a long time ago, this problem's happened under their watch, certainly since lockdown. They've had plenty of years since lockdown to tackle it and failed to. The Labour lot who had announced this yesterday would have been up in arms.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if the boot was on the other foot, they'd be shouting about austerity. Ken Loach would be making a film about it.
Absolutely.
So we are just in the political reality is that because people don't question Labour's motives in the way that they question the Conservative motives, they have the capital to make these moves. But I think you're right that they haven't gone far enough.
No, absolutely. And again, it's not a question of whether the rights and wrongs we want to know. We ain't got the money. We're not going to have more money. The situation's only going to get worse age-wise and demographically in terms of the number of young people. We cannot afford to have 1 million young people not working, and we're paying them thousands. And again, people think these benefits are really low. They're not. They open a world of other benefits. So once you get your housing benefit fully paid, that's it. Game over. The taxpayer is going to be, up to their knees in debt. Michael Simmons from The Spectator, thank you so much for joining us. Do come back on the show soon.